What's up, guys? We are back over here at Reps Fitness, and today we are talking about ham and glute isolation, different forms of flexes, and we're focusing mainly on the glutes, and we're focusing on your glutes, and we're focusing on the hamstrings. And this is going to be an isolation type of video. We're not going to be doing big compound movements like your hip thrusts and like ones we've done in the past. Like, you know, you get a lot of posterior chain activation when you do a deadlift, mainly, would be the big, but that's a compound move.
No, the thing is you're using multiple muscle groups, and if you hadn't isolated one before, if you weren't focused on a certain portion of that muscle that you wanted to work, then you wouldn't be using a majority from just that area. You'd be using everything overall. So this is like, if you can do this, you'd get more focus, or you'd have more focus on that general area. Right.
And I think this is probably going to be focused maybe more at like the end of a workout. It could be. It could be incorporated anyway, right? But maybe at the end of the workout, after you fatigue, now you're going down into just working the muscle of interest. Working the glutes and the hamstrings.
Which will give you some good definition, good pump towards the end.
Right, okay. And you could also, we can talk about this becoming more of an explosive. We'll get to that here in a little bit. More of an explosive for athletes or like sprinters and stuff like that. This will really increase your sprinting ability, and those fast twitch muscle fibers can be activated.
I can run fast, I just can't stop anymore.
You just keep right on going, huh?
I have to hit a brick wall or somebody or a couple
you knock yourself out. Workout's over at that point. So go ahead and talk a little bit about what you were doing as far as the kickbacks, because you did 3 different forms of the kickbacks.
Well, the first one was a bent to straight, so it's basically a straight leg kickback. You start bent. You want to leave that torso upright, because if you're leaning forward while you're kicking, then you're really not isolating from the waist down. You're basically moving your whole body to kind of move that weight out. It kind of uses a little bit of force through different ways. So you want to make sure you keep that power in the hip, leading that leg out and kicking straight out. Leading that sole of the shoe straight back out behind you is very important, as far as like where you're focusing the flex on that leg, and just how the move's like particularly done, because you don't want to do it with a toe pointed straight out. You really don't have any flexion through your glute and your ham. So and then the second one, that was a little bit different too, because then I did a straight leg, because you're basically pulling straight from the glute. You really don't have a ham flex. And then that one's more of just like isolating the glute, so you get more pull from that major butt muscle that you're looking for. That's just basically a straight leg kick, so you're just kicking straight out, pulling from that glute. The third one was it's called a glute kickback or a bent leg kickback, which is where you keep your knee bent the whole time and all your movement is at the hip, but you're still leading that sole back. You just don't straighten the leg all the way out. So when you do that, you actually get a different flex in the hamstring and the glute versus the one that you would have got with a straight leg. And you can actually focus and keep that tension on that area, and then you can actually keep a good solid working motion going with that. You'll actually work the ham and the glute better in that bent leg, as far as my experience with
So that would be kind of your 1, 2, 3 punch. I mean, that would kind of catch everything then.
That's the bread and butter.
Bread and butter right there. Okay, good. So this is the isolation movement. Now we also you did a little bit of abduction work, which is working more just on the hips, on the glute medius primarily. The same type of apparatus. Well, you were using a different apparatus, using the strap, right? The ankle strap.
It goes around the ankle. The other one was more of a harness. They're a little bit new. They're government patented, but you get more pull from the heel. So you're pulling from a different area, which makes it more effective on that ham and the glute as far as what you're working. This one, you pull from the ankle, but there's really no way you can abduct with a shoe harness. So,
it's an you'd be twisted.
And this one you get real good flexion, but it also makes a difference with your foot positioning as well on this move, because if you had your toe pointed down or up instead of out and straight and leading that foot out and straight, then you'll get a different flex in that glute.
Sure. Okay. So it's all about the foot position. It has a lot to do today with how we're I got to target different areas of the muscle.
And it's weird because as far as like body movement and everything, that you'll learn a lot about that. When you learn the way that the body moves and like the positioning of everything, it makes a big difference on your moves.
I think one thing you can notice just by doing the exercise and positioning yourself differently, you can change your foot position, and you'd be like, oh my, that hurt. That hits a different area of the muscle.
I've done that like several times this week already.
You discover it kind of on accident sometimes almost, and you kind of learn from trial and error. But breaking it down like this is good though. I think for people to see that somebody experienced like you can take them through different positionings to effectively hit different portions of the muscle differently.
And then it's also good, knowing that the guys do these moves. and they're good isolation moves, and
Yeah.
it's not an embarrassing thing to do out in public, especially when your legs and your whole physique totally looks better than this guy over here that's making fun of you because you're doing a kickback when his ass is sinking halfway into his body. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, because so many times I think guys kind of steer away from these sissy moves because they think it looks sissy and they don't want to do it. But
add
then
some weight to it. Honcho? I mean, what were you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then also, like at the beginning of the video, I talked about how you can make this explosive, you can make this ballistic.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're an athlete, or even if you're not an athlete, but if you're a sprinter, that's really going to actually train you the way you're going to be training. You need to be explosive, so you can incorporate that here. Just like a lot of other exercises, you can become explosive on this isolation cable move.
Can make it more exciting for that person.
Yeah.
Like it's not so girly anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm becoming explosive.
Yeah, and I get to do what I want.
Yeah.
So.
Well. You do what you want anyway, right?
Yeah, I try to. Just in the gym.
Within reason.
Yeah.
Within reason, right?
Schwarzenegger said it's good to break rules, but all rules are made for a reason.
Yes.
So some rules are made to be broken, but most aren't.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully you guys have a good week. Give this a try. Give this isolation movement a try. I think you're going to see good development in your glutes and your hamstrings if you incorporate it into your program. So we will see you before long. Bye.